last cell on my data. Your own data might be different, all right? So when we click OK, it automatically comes back to the pivot table and shows us the empty pivot table. We've not populated it yet. You get the question now, the explanation. Are you
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Yes,
all
sir.
right? So,
Thank you,
all
sir.
right. Now, so now we have this pivot. You're welcome. Now we have this pivot. What do we want to do? We want to get an insight into our data, just the way we use for graph and the charts. We want to have a table representation of our data. You can see on the left side of this. I can't do so. I wish I can do this. On the left side of our, let me try this. Oh, it's not increasing. On the left side of our screen, you can the right side rather, in the right side of our screen, you can see there is a section that contains all your columns. And bottom here, on bottom here, you can see filter, columns, rows, and values. So we're just going to work with rows and columns and values for now, right? So our data is a data about furniture. This data is a data about furniture, particularly the sales aspect of furniture. So we have things like list price. That means the price of each furniture. Selling price, how much was it sold at the store or at the shelf? How much was it actually sold for? Apart from what they actually put on the record, no, on the, let's say on the, what's this called now? Let's say the company already has a structure for 30% on every product. Are you following my narration? Yeah. So let's say the company determined that any product we are selling, our profit or our markup is going to be 30%, right? So all we have to do, or all they did rather, is if a product is 100K, 100,000, and the markup is 30%, it just means that the list price here will be 130K. But it's possible that even though the list price is 130K, probably because of sales, discounts, promotion, whatever they are doing, they actually sold it for lesser, right? That is the selling price. Then you have costs. Then you have sales. Sales just means number of sales. This sales here is not like amounts, it's actually quantity. Then you have inventory after sales. That means what was left in the inventory after they sold the number of sales they made. And you have discount percentage. What percentage was discounted? Delivery days, how long it took, gross revenue, net revenue, in discounts, and you have all that kind of information, right? I'm just being a bit fast so that I can really just save up time. So
I emailed it. Let me see it.
you ended it already.
Sorry?
Okay, all right. I've seen it. That's cool.
Mhm.
Thank you. So, okay, all right. Okay, it's set. Okay, so now let's start with something very, very simple. We want to know what location has the highest sales. Very simple. I can drag this out. Remember, we have columns, we have rows. Let's see what they look like, right? So let's drag location. It's a drag and drop feature, right? So I can drag location into rows. You see that? It's not changed. Yes, the changed now. So in my rows, you can see that I have rural, I have suburban, I have urban, right? Now, that's because I dragged location into rows. Now let's drag um, seasons. Let's drag seasons into columns. So seasons into columns. So now I can see that I have fall, spring, summer, winter, and grand total, right? So now let's then drag net revenue. We drag net revenue um, into values, right? And what do we see? Now, unlike our working sheets here, we have these tons and tons and tons of data, And then if you were to do your sum, which you first did on the first day, you'd have to place it here and do equals to sum and all that kind of thing. Pivot table gives you the idea to summarize the data. Because now not only will I know the sum of the net revenue, I will know the sum of the net revenue per rural area versus the season. So that means on our data here, we have rural area during the fall. How much did they make? They made 1,668,500.105, whatever currency that is. I don't know whether it's dollar or naira or pounds, right? It means that on rural area summer, how much did they have? They had 1,443,804.332. Now we can see from our pivot table that who is the highest now? The fall. So during the fall, we had the highest net revenue, not the highest sale, but the highest net revenue, because fall is 4,442,256, whereas winter is 4,423. This is 44. This is 42. This is 23, right? So every other one comes short. So this has given us a summarization of our data, right? I'm seeing questions. Sorry, I'm seeing questions on the. Okay. No, Abigail. No, this is not. We're just working on this one. I just got the data now. So, yes, this is your data set. Yes. So, now we have that information. What if we want to get the gross revenue or the sales? We want to know what location made the highest sales in what season. Very simple. Just take out the sum of revenues, right? Let's take that out. Or right click and drag this away. Right click there and press, let's click on that, press delete, and then drag sales into that. Sales. Now, we now see that, oh, in our pivot table, we have 15,970 during the fall, spring 15,300. And so from our pivot table, we saw that winter actually has the highest sale. The winter period, the cumulative of the winter period had the highest sales. Now, what we've been doing since is just some simple summary. What if we want to get the average number, the average sale value? We come to this point here. You see the arrow beside the sum, right? I click on that arrow and then click on value field setting. And I click on that. This pop-up shows up. And this pop-up now shows me the ability to change certain metrics. So I can change this to count, I can change this to average, I can change this to max, I can change this to mean, I can change this to product, right? So if I change this to average and I press OK, now I see, oh, the average sales made here, the average sales made here, average sales made, average sales made here, right? So who has the highest average sales? Same thing. During the winter period, the company had the highest average sales. And then in the winter period, it is urban area that had the highest average sales. What if we want to know the max sale? So I just come to the same thing, right? Click on the arrow there. Sorry, let's click rather, the arrow there, value, and then max. So I see that there's an even number, right? So let's go back. Same thing with count is going to just do yes. So this how many sales was made. Now this does not account. Count and sum are not the same thing. If I have 1, 2, and 5, if I sum those number, what I will get is 8. If I count them, what I will have is 3. So these are the count of sales made. You see that everything's total 2,500 because our rows are actually 2,500. If this number was not 2,500, then something is wrong somewhere. So it's actually about, but how many of those numbers were made in say when winter, were made in summer, were made in spring, were made in fall, and then how many of them were by each of the stated or available um, areas or location. So this is simply how pivot table. It is just simply a what's this called now? A summarization feature, right? You can use to aggregate data and summarize data. So let's get to one more example. So let's say colors, right? Let's assume I want to colors plenty. Ooh, let's try. Okay. So now you can also aggregate multiple values in a column or a row, right? So let's look how it is. Although my data, okay, so let's quickly down. Let's just use this one that was downloaded. Where are you? Click here and open. So this is the data from I think that's AICA, yes. So as you can see, this data have a null value here, have a null value here, have a null value here. So we can try to first understand our data, right? Um, okay, so this is percentage, this is unit price, this is quantity, this is product, this is dates, customer ID, order ID. So one of the things that you would always typically like to have is um, your discount in percent in decimal, not percentage, right? And you typically don't want to leave this here so that it doesn't cause issues. That's this dollar sign that you are seeing here. We typically do not want that. So what do? We click this and then leave it as general, right? So another thing you can do is to right click here, insert, and think that would be correct. It's here. This is sorry, pardon me, wait. Escape. English. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you number. Yes. So I don't need to have this on. Right? So that's data. Oh, we haven't have other factors here. So we have customers, we have a null value here, we have products, same thing, we have payments. So like I said, you can create a new sheet and then click on insert, drop down list from table and range. So now let's do a pivot table of payments. Let's see what we have in payment. I'm used to working with that. Let's try customer ID. So like I said, watch this. When I click on the top left corner, you see that it selects everything. When I click on any of them, I click Control A, it selects only this space. Let me zoom. Okay, I can't zoom in here. Select only that space here. So I click on OK. Data source not valid. Sheet one. Okay. Okay. Control A. Yes. Yes. Hmm. So yes, that's done. Same thing, I can have city and I can have gender, male and female. Let me zoom this in. And then I can have name as my, so I can see that we have one female in Abuja. There's no male in Abuja, no female in Ibadan, one male in Ibadan, no female in Kano, one male in Kano, one female in Lagos, one female in Lagos, two females in Port Harcourt, no male in Port Harcourt. And then you have the grand total on the left, and then you have 7 here, you have 3 here, you have 4 here. Simple and short. Summarization. That's what it does. The idea of a pivot table is just to summarize. Now, so that I end this here, I would prefer to use, okay, let me just try this and see. So let's assume that we want to now use our pivot table to create a chart. Very simple. And meanwhile, mind you, so that you don't miss this, I've created this pivot table here and I create another one if I want to. I can click here This pivot table was made against customer, if I'm correct. Was it customer? Yes, customer. I can do a pivot table for, let's use for products. On the same sheet, I clicked here, right? Let me zoom in so you can see it. I clicked here and insert drop down arrow table or range. I click on payments. That's the product, what I said. Click here, Control A, and okay. Chikena. Now I have another pivot table in my pivot table sheet. And this time around, let's say I want to go for categories against, let's say, okay, let's say categories and then cost price. Simple. You don't always have to use the rows and columns. Because in this case now, I just did categories, rows and value. So where I have my rows, electronics, furniture, stationaries, and then my sum price, the cost price for the sum of all electronics. Sorry, the sum of the cost price for all electronics is 1,000. The sum of the cost price for all furniture is 150. Sum of the cost price for all stationaries, 1. And that gives us a grand total of 1151. Simple and short and straight to the point. Now, one last thing I would like to just quickly show you is I could click on my pivot table, any part of my pivot table, right? And I will go to data up here. What? Sorry, design. No, where is insert? Yes, insert. Pardon me. And then I click on recommended charts. So I can remember any part of my pivot table and click on insert, then recommended chart, and I can select any chart I want to use. So now this chart gives me a visual representation, not a table representation, or a visual summarization, or a graphical summarization of my data, right? So this is that. I put this here. Now I can see graphically that we have one person in Abuja, one person in Ibadan, one person in Kano, two people, two people in Lagos, and two people in Port Harcourt. But you can also notice that there are different colors, and the colors differentiate gender. It specifies gender here. So you have male, you have female, right? So we can see from here that female is blue, male is red, and that's why this is true in Lagos and Abuja. And you zoom that in. Lagos and Abuja, sorry, Lagos and Port Harcourt. This is two. This is two. Just that this is one female, one male. These are both females. So now, why a pivot table? You might ask. Why don't I just take my graph straight from my data set, right? Well, a pivot table helps you narrow down your focus on what you're interested in. It makes life very easy in what you're interested in, right? And so instead of me having my graph come from the bulk of the data set, I can focus it on just, in this case now, um, gender in each location for the first pivot table. So now I can create my sheet or my graph rather based off that. I can edit it and do what I want to do, but that's not what that will do because today's pivot table. I'm just trying to show you what pivot table can help you do, right? And I want the pivot table to just show me electronics, the categories, and the cost of each of the category, the cost associated with each of the category, right? Very simple. So that's basically what a pivot table does. It helps you summarize. And so, like I said, watch this part now. I can come down here, click on it, click on value field setting, and I can also do other things here. I can count numbers, I can do products, I can do average, max, mean, count. And so again, let's do the average. I do average. Now the average cost of electronics is 333.33333. Average cost of furniture is 75. Average cost of stationery is 1 because the average of 1 is 1, right? Yes. So, and then we have the total average of all the categories is 191.83333. So you can see what the pivot table does. It gives you summary and it gives you quick insight into your data, helps you categorize them, aggregate them properly, right? So I think that covers pivot table. Any question? At least on the basic level of pivot table. Any question? Let me see if there are hands. Any question? Okay, Aisha, please talk.
Okay, there was a side table that you showed where you chose what data you wanted to see on your table. I wanted to know how
Okay.
we can get that side listed.
Okay, you mean where you the one that's found by the left hand side here, right?
Yes,
This one here.
yes.
So once you click on the pivot table, it automatically comes up.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So you can notice that once I click out, it disappears. Once I click on it, it comes back in.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. I saw another question on the chat that says, at what point do we know when to use either the row or column and value when creating a pivot table? So it's very simple. A row is from top to bottom. A column is left to right. So if I want my data to be left to right, I will put it in the, so let's take a look at this value here, right? You can see that I have on the rows, I have electronics, furniture, stationery, and I have the average cost price here. And this is not the column, this is just value, right? I can drag this on my left panel, drag category from rows to columns. And what happens? It changes the view. So now instead of on up to down, electronics is now showing from left to right. So you have electronics, furniture, stationery, and the grand total. Now, what are values? Values are just what the pivot table aggregates between your rows and your column. Okay, between your rows and your column, right? So, Emmanuel,
Yes, I wanted adding something. I don't know if I can.
okay.
So, at least how I got to understand where to put what between the row, column, and value is that I was told that when you have a data set, you have two things, right? You have numbers and you have descriptions. Mostly,
Mm-hmm.
our descriptions are usually either in the row, commonly in the row or the column, whereas
Mm-hmm.
our numbers are usually the value. So let's say you want a description which can be city, right? One description is city, which you can either put it in your row or column. Another description might be maybe time of the day. Yes. So like
Mm-hmm.
maybe you want to find how much goods was sold during this time of the day in a particular city. So that kind
Mm.
of thing. So I think that kind of thing. So always put your descriptions as either row or column, then your numbers as values. The more you play around with it, I think the more you get familiar with it.
Okay. Thank you so much for that input, Emmanuel. So, I think one of the things that uh, will be necessary to explaining new concepts is to put it in a way that is easy for everyone to understand, right? And so the explanation that Emmanuel gave is a very, I would say it works, right? But not in all cases, right? Not in all cases. Now, you can see that unlike this one here, this second one here, if you can see the left panel, where you can see category and then obviously the cost of price is a numerical value. But if you go to our first pivot table and click on it, you will notice that under the value it is count of names. Names already is telling me that that is not a numeric value. It's an alphabetical or it's an alphabetical value or what's it called now? A text value, right? So what does that say? The value reads things numerically or aggregate things numerically. You can't really put like okay, let's do this. Let's click on count and I say field value and then I say average of names. This is what happens, right? This is what am I my session? Okay, it's a session. This is what happens to my value. My values are now div/0. It's not a problematic stuff, right? It's not making any sense. So that is because the value reads things numerically. So in reality, I can actually put almost any kind of value there or column there or data there. It's just that I have to now format it in a way that would bring a numeric output. So even though I put name here, the only thing I can do to name here is counts. I can't sum it. I can't do product of names. I can't do average of names because how do you want to do average of names? It's alphabetical. It's text. You can't take an average of text. You can't take a product of text. Can I say David times Emmanuel? It doesn't work, right? So what I can do instead is to count. And what does count do? Count just highlights or returns the number of appearances of a data, right? So even though I put names here, I must return it I must format it in a way that will return a numeric value, which is in this case count. Let's try sum and see what happens. 0, right? So when I put count instead, I get my value. Why? Because if I have Emmanuel, let me use our names that are here. If I have Emmanuel, Nicole, Victoria, Ismail, Aisha, right, Asanda, and I have Chukuba, Chukwemeka, Akinwale, Benjamin, and I'm counting each of those names, I can go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Ozijiri, Fadere, right? I can keep going like that. I am doing counting. So because it is counting, it is numeric value I'm going to get as my result. Thus, the pivot table will accept it, or the pivot table will give me a meaningful result. Because when I do this, when I take an average of names, this is not a meaningful result. Even my graph would return an error. It will show me blank because there is no meaningful result from which he is pulling or it is pulling data from anymore, right? So when I go back here, let me zoom that in, and I return my values, the field setting, back to count, I have that. So back to the question, I think this better puts what Emmanuel was saying into better perspective, right? So back to who asked the question now? Nicole asked, right? Really, in actual reality, you can put almost any data anywhere. But the idea of a pivot table is to give you aggregates of what you are trying to see. So if I say I want to see the number of the genders in each location, right? And I want to know, yes, the number of gender in each location, simple and short, right? So I can always know that I can put my city because on my data, city is where the locations are listed. So I can put city in rows and gender in columns. I can switch it. Let me switch it to see what it looks like. Switch. Okay, let me put this here. Switch and switch. So now you can see I have switched it successfully. So you see, so I have so female and male, right? Let me zoom that in. So I have female and male. And Abuja one, same thing. I still have the same thing, right? Oh, but then why did I choose to put the gender in the columns and the city in the row? Just because it looks more compact. This looks too long, unnecessarily long, right? I just drag it back and put my gender here. Now this looks more compact. Now, how did I know what to put so that I can get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and rest? Let's go back to our data, right? Because we might have a problem. That's a good question to consider when you are doing data analytics. How do you know what to put in your value section. Because if there is an empty row here in the value section that does not represent your data properly, you have a wrong result. Thereby, you make a wrong report. So let's go, since our data is very small and we're working with, this is the customer section. We can see that in age, there's a null value here and there's nil here. As long as our data is concerned, the gender is complete, the city is complete, the name is complete. We have no problem, right? So, oh, how do I know from my null value of my pivot table if my data contains null value? You can't do it. You have to do the analysis yourself on your working sheet to do a null, to find the null, value yourself, so you can know what you are working with and know how you can go around that. But a single and short, your pivot table will just give you a summary of your data. Do you understand? Any more questions? Any more question? Akinwale, Christina, go ahead.
Hello? Yes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah. So I was the one that asked the initial questions about the rules,
All
right?
right.
So yeah, I still have like a follow-up questions. Looking at the
Okay.
second data set, that's the one containing the column electronics, furniture, and stationery, right? So
Okay.
we adjusted it, right, because of the placement of the values now. Are we saying that this particular data set, as it is like this, is the right way to present this data?
No, as it is like
I
it's not
asked
right way.
this
It's
because,
very
okay,
okay.
no, sorry,
I'm
carry
listening.
on.
I'm listening. Just give me your reasoning behind the question.
Yes, because sometimes when we are presented with data, maybe the
Mm-hmm.
question can say, like the initial question, that's the first data set you were working with. You were trying to
Yes.
compare the cost of the item per location, right? In a situation whereby, as a first timer working with pivot table, you are not sure where to
Mm-hmm.
place the data. And the very first column and rows and value that you use, you got something. At that point, how are you certain that what you got is right?
Okay, so what can you give me an example so that we can use an example to work together?
Okay, we can use this particular one on the screen, right? This one
Mhm.
with the stationery and all of that. It was in a particular way before you changed it to this, right?
Yes.
So we have two set of people. Somebody did this, somebody did the other one, right? Which one will we go for? Is there like another way to checkmate this particular data to be sure that we are doing the right thing? Because I'm sure if you plot this on a graph, something will come up, right?
Yes.
But
And it
do we know which
and
one
it will
is
still be the same. Still be the same as when
exactly?
it is like this.
So if we submit this now to our employer that's giving us this work to
Yes.
do, is this what they are
Yes.
expecting from us?
It looks more perfect. Okay, just like you saw it, right? If you were the one as my manager or supervisor or team lead, and I
Mm,
presented this to you as the first work, right, or the first report, and I presented the
okay,
second one as another option, which would you choose?
okay. I'll choose this because
Why?
this looks more compact and is easy to see at once in one
Exactly,
clearing.
exactly. So one of the things that you would learn, I like I said, I don't really know the Excel course, but at least with the SQL course, one thing that you learn at the ending is your presentation. Because one of the things that data analysts would fall into as a trap is you would think that your work is to analyze data. No, your work is not to analyze data, even though that's the core of what you are doing. or that's the heart of the process of what you're trying to do. The core of what you're actually trying to do is you are trying to draw insights and make meaningful conclusion. But if I make a meaningful conclusion now, and from your name, permit me, but I can assume that you are from Yoruba tribe, yeah? And I made
That's
a
correct.
yes, thank you. And I made a meaningful conclusion from my data. And then I turn to you and I say, oh, you won't understand what I'm saying, right? So even though I made a meaningful conclusion, all I have to do is to translate my meaningful conclusion into what you can understand so that you get what I am seeing or what I am saying I saw in the data.
Mm.
And that is what reporting is about, right? So it's one thing to have a beautiful or rather not concise now, a holistic analysis, a precise analysis is one thing, it's beautiful, right? As an analyst. But you know that the
Yeah.
end goal of your analysis is to report. The end goal is to give insights to other people.
Mm.
Now, it now depends on who you are giving the insights to. If you're giving the insight to the head of marketing, obviously you are going to tweak your report, not your analysis, your report to what the head of marketing can understand your data is saying, right? If you're giving it to the head of IT, right, you have to tweak the same thing too. If you're giving it to board of directors, you have to tweak the same thing too. Maybe for them, you have to tweak it in the sales in the point of growth, because the point of
Mm.
the board of directors wants to see how the company grows. That's what they're interested in, right? The growth and some financial numbers, nothing sophisticated. But if you're giving it to the tech head, right, you start doing things like correlation, like some statistical analysis into you want to see, okay, why you came up with your answer, what exactly are the data points, what exactly was the statistical metric used to do. Do you get my point? So
Yes, sir.
now, from what I've explained, you can see clearly that, and what you also said, if we change this to the longer version, the one that everything is on the horizontal view, if we put a graph, it will still give us the same answer. It won't change the answer. The only thing is that this, if you are using a pivot table, this looks more appealing in the eyes, right? This looks more proper. I can easily see, oh, electronics is this, oh, this is that, oh, this is that, than the other one that just looks so long and doesn't make any sense, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Oh, all right, thank you. Any more questions so that we can call it a day? This is already way above our time. Any more question? Well, just take just one more question and we're done. One more question and we're out of here.
So just one question I have.
All right, all right.
Sorry, no verse. It's not actually on the data set. I don't know if you've seen the post on the chat. It's concerning attendance link. It has not been pasted. That's my question.
Amazing. Okay.
Are we
Let
posting it
me.
now?
Okay. Okay. She's going to post it now. All right. Okay. Fadios. Did I pronounce that correctly? Fadios, you can speak. I see your hand. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I can see your hand, Fadios. Can you speak? Unmute yourself and speak.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Did I get that right?
Fake Daos.
So, can you come again?
Yeah, sorry. My question is concerning the new assignment we assigned on
All
the
right.
data camp. So it asked us to enroll, and I was trying to enroll since I think 2 days ago, but I was unable to enroll.
Enroll where?
Like when I clicked on the assignment, it was saying enroll for data analysis.
Where did you see that? On data camp. Okay.
Yeah.
On data camp. On data camp. Okay.
Sir, if I may come in, sir, please forgive me. I think what
Yes, please.
after our last assignment, which is Excel fundamentals, we are given a new one to do. So normally when you go there, you see the assignment, so you have to click enroll. Then from enroll, it should now open up to say continue track. So I think that is what she's referring to, that she's trying to click enroll and it's not working, if I get her correctly.
Okay, if you have that, but is anyone fixing that issue too? Because I've not even been here for a while now. Let me see. Let me see. Assignments. This one data. Sorry, not that. Is it the assignment?
Yes, that's the assignment.
Okay.
Yes, I
You mean
think
this
that's the
enroll
one.
track?
Yes.
This thing here.
Yeah,
Okay. So when you click on this, what do you see? What happens?
it was not loading.
It's not loading. Did you try any other browser or any other websites at that moment to know whether it was an internet connection?
Yes,
Did you refresh your page?
yes, I did.
What browser do you use?
I use Brave.
Use
Okay.
Brave. Okay. Okay. This is Brave also. So let's see. Probably it's a server issue that has opened up. So,
Okay.
so now you see that it has changed to continue track. No longer.
Yes,
Uh, so did it change to continue track or it just didn't work?
not go, not
It didn't
change.
go. It's a server issue. So maybe you just try some other time. Just give it a while and try again. Is that cool?
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, if it does. You're welcome. Um, David, I think your mic is on mute. Okay, Aisha has posted the attendance link. We can use the attendance too. So today's class, name of today's class is pivot table, and we can use that to fill in. So as we've come to the end of today's class. I think that will be all for pivot table. You're free to leave the call, and then while everyone is leaving, if you have any other question that might be related to this or something else, yes, you're free to ask. But we're come to the end of the class. See you next time. Over. So I'll just be here for the next 5 minutes. After that, I'll be heading off. Hopefully, within that period of time, any question, anything you have in your mind, you can bring that up. Please don't forget to use your attendance. So very important. Okay, 4 more minutes and I'll be out.
Hello, Emmanuel. Please, are you the TA for today?
Yes, I am. I'm the TA standing in for today. I'm not TA supposed to take the class today. I'm just standing in for the TA for today. You get what I mean?
So we should put your name on the attendance list. That's what I'm asking.
Amazing. I actually didn't think of that. Oh, yes, just for my name, yes. So it's Emmanuel Dublin Green. That is going to be Dubblin hyphen Green.
All right,
Green does not have
thank
an
you.
E at the end. You're welcome.
Sorry, you said Emmanuel Dublin Green, and the green does not have what?
Does not have an E at the end, just normal green, normal spelling of green. Yes, Dublin Green, yes. The way Kabir spelled it on the chat. Oh, it is nice.
Please, someone should send the attendance link, please.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Uh, Victoria, yes, please.
Good evening.
Victoria, I can see your hand, yes. Good evening.
Good evening. I have been having issues with my system, so I have not like been following the class. So I don't know, is there any
Okay.
way I can catch up? I also missed the assignment, submission of the assignment, so I don't know. Please, is
Ooh,
there any way I can rectify that?
amazing. The power is in your hand, actually. I think the course is let me see. Da-da-da-da. Course, Excel, no, sorry, skill track. Yeah, you. I'm gonna send. Where's Excel? Okay.
Yeah, but
So you can see it's a five course and a project, and when you view that, you are going to see 16 hours. I don't know what
oh my
timing they
god.
give you guys. I'm coming. Oh my god, just chill. Let me see. Where are you? Where are you? What's your timeline they give you?
It's 1 day late. It's showing 1 day late here.
That submission of your data set, of your assignment rather.
Yes, yes,
Let me see. Was that assigned the assignments? Oh, shoot. I think Excel fundamentals, right?
yes, sir.
So, if I'm correct, you are 1 day late on a skill track that lasts 16 hours. The best thing I can just tell you is just do it. Really, because if you attempt to skip it, you eventually miss out. And then the time that you would use to try to catch up, everyone else will be in something else, and then there'll be no ginger for you to get it done, really. And any other time from now might just be pressure, more pressure than you think you're actually going to feel now. So the best thing for you to do is to just do five. Actually, just five. It's never like SQL. Oh God, I think I need to finish this course in 1 week. So just do it. right? Just do it. There is no Excel is never hard. Do you know Excel before now? Let me ask.
No, not really. Just
Not really.
tiny bit. Just basic.
Excel is not hard. Excel is not hard. And that's why you're in a community, right? So I think for everyone in the call, this is very important. You are in a community. Please, if let me speak it in pigeon. Okay, we don't have nobody, not everyone here is Nigerian. You are in a community. And what that means is you network, you make friends, you make relationships so that you grow together. That's the benefit of having a community. It's not just to learn together, but you grow together. So you can have friends that will ginger you to get your stuff done. You check up on each other. How far this thing? Oh, I noticed this. Oh, I noticed that. So you guys can grow together. Isolation is a killer to growth. You can't grow in isolation. Don't mind what social media might say or preach. You cannot grow in isolation, or whatever growth you make in isolation is only going to last so little, right? So best thing is having friends, people around you, like you have now, people around you that would help you, push you to get things done. So if you have a friend, an acquaintance in the group, oh hi, hey, what are you doing? Can you quickly walk me through Excel, what you know? The person would lovely do it because probably the person too is looking for somebody to network or relate to or catch up with on the same subject matter, right? But basically, like I would always say, Excel is just simply rows and columns. There's nothing dramatic about Excel. It's just simply rows and columns, at least for the simplest, for the initial stage of Excel. It's when you're now getting to like the advanced stage, you now start seeing things that might look like they want to make it a blur a bit. But at the end of the day, it's just simply rows and columns. And like I explained on the way you're around on first class,
No.
you're around the first class. Okay, so like I explained on first class, is
Yeah,
this
I was the one in the
arrows?
first place. Someone I
You
missed.
were doing like you were there when I explained rows and columns, right?
Yes, yes, I was.
Exactly. So it's just simple rows and columns, how to manipulate them, how to put them to um get what you want to see. Because not only are they rows and columns, they are rows and columns we use to store data. And as data analysts, our work is to ensure that we can draw meaningful insights from the data we receive. And as you go in data analysis, you are going to be able to determine if a data is meaningful or not, even just by looking at the columns. You can tell the possibilities of what it can get you, but that comes with practice and time. So don't let Excel try to scare you. Also, what I'm saying all this is that don't let the 16 hours you're seeing there scare you. And believe me, if you actually sit down to get it done, it will not take up 16 hours because Excel is not that deep, right? So
Mhm.
this is not to talk down on Excel. I'm just letting you know that Excel is not that deep, like that, right? Actually, the fundamentals of Excel is nothing too much. So if you give yourself, I don't know what you are doing during the week, what you're engaged with, but if you are not engaged with something serious, right, at the moment, you can give yourself 3 hours, 4 hours. That okay, I'll sit down the next 4 hours, and whether I'm snacking on something or I'm not snacking on anything, I'm just focused here, right? I'm not leaving this space until 4 hours is complete, right? Keeping my phone aside, focused on this thing, I'm getting it done. After 4 hours, you stand up and leave the Excel alone. And you come back the next day, repeat the same thing like that. Before you know you're done. If you have things engaged with, you can give yourself 2 hours in any time of the day, whether in the morning when you wake up, your mind is still fresh and everything, or in the night when you come back after you've taken your break, relax, kind of refresh your mind again, sit down with it, just stay there. That's one of the keys of finishing, getting your courses done. Don't even start thinking about it, just sit down there. By the time your mind knows that every time by this particular time, Victoria comes to sit down at this place, bro, you have to wake up. Your mind will just wake up. That's just what it is. So at that particular time, your mind is going to become active. You're going to get a course done. And the discipline also is that even when you're excited about it, try to just, once it's 2 hours, stand up, leave it. So you know that you're building discipline into your framework. So that your mind knows that, okay, for the next 2 hours, whether it's from 7 to 9, you have to be on fire. You have at the end of the 2 hours to rest and to daydream and do whatever you want to do. But within this time period, no distractions and stuff like that. Before you know, you're done. And why every other person might have moved ahead trying to do what's this other course called now? Trying to do hold on and bring that out. Trying to do data analysis with Excel power tools. It's very easy to fall into the trap to say that, oh, I am still doing this while everybody is doing that. But don't forget, if you leave this one to try to do power tools and stuff, you will struggle. And if you even try to find a way to just make it work, blah blah blah, when you get your certificate, it will feel like an imposter. It just feel wrong. Or something inside of you will not be satisfied with that certificate. You feel like I don't deserve this thing, right? But when you sit down there and you get it done yourself, when you get a certificate, you in fact with your full chest, you walk to any organization and say, yes, I'm a data analytical associate. I'm ready for this work. I can do this and do this because you did it yourself. You sat down and got it done, right? So don't shy away from the challenge that's staring in your face. Put your head at it and get it done. That's just what I'll tell you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
You are welcome. All right. I've exceeded my time. So that'll be all for me tonight. Have a very, very wonderful night's rest and have it. Ismail, I can see your hands.
Yeah, sorry, I'm putting up my hand. I have a question regarding this our
All
attendance.
right.
Sorry. On this attendance, there's a space that what specific career track are you currently on? Is it the career track we are on the beta session on the data camp?
What do you mean? What options do you see there?
Yeah, it says
Let me see.
what specific
You mean this
career
one?
track are you currently on? Then
Oh,
it
oh.
gives
So
data
okay, so you
associate.
do yes, so you do data associate data analytics or analysis, anyone you want to use. Analysis or
With Excel.
data analyst rather with Excel.
Okay, thank you.
See that? So that's how you do it. Data analyst with Excel. All right. Oh, I'm seeing some very, very fine names today. I hope I see all of you in the SQL. We're going to analyze the data set, don't worry. Yeah, we're in this together. All right. That's my time. That's my time. So see you guys. I really don't know when I'll see you. Probably till when you're ready for Excel. Thank you so much. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Akinwale. Thank you, Ayade. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you so much. So see you next time we see. Au revoir.
Same, sir. Good night, sir.
bad on the problem.
20, 11 jẹ́ 31 àbí?